It's a foregone conclusion, really, but at the Friday of the 23rd of this month, this man will be the new Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton. He represents Crossville. Again, thank you for being here. Don, you wanted to follow up on the questioning that we were asking about David Burke.
So, like so many good guests and politicians we've had, Cameron, I'm not sure I heard the exact answer. Would you meet with these women, and did you just suggest in the last block that serving on the Ethics Committee might preclude you from meeting with these women, even though you will become the Speaker of the House?
If I'm on the Ethics Committee, yes. Now, I would, when I go in on August 23rd, I would reset the Ethics Committee. So at this point, I have not met with them for the sole purpose of I'm on that committee and I need to be unbiased. And if we have a hearing, then we need to have people to have that like a due
I'll
process.
put the question to you one more time. If you're not on the Ethics Committee, and as Speaker, if these women asked for a meeting, would you take that meeting?
Very possibly could, yes. I can't say definitely, but it would be under consideration.
Okay, a couple of things, just curious. You have, in the previous Speaker's office, there was an appointed deputy, not elected, but appointed. Do you intend to fill that position? And then are you going to be engaged in the election for caucus chairman, for instance?
I won't be engaged in the caucus chairman race. That's a caucus position, and I don't think the Speaker needs to tell the caucus where they need to go. That's the caucus needs to do that.
Good
so
answer.
I would stay out of that. As far as the Deputy Speaker role, yes, that will be filled. What I will say is I don't think an appointed position like Deputy Speaker should have more influence or more ability than an elected position like Majority Leader and Caucus Chairman or a Speaker pro tem. So you need to have that balance, and so that's what I look to try to do.
And then another question, just the politics of it. It's Glenn Cassidy was very good at raising money for his PAC and helped elect a lot of folks out there to their positions. Will you be as aggressive as he was in raising money and funding races, the legislative races?
Yes, to raising money and funding races for our incumbents, yes. Trying to go in and pick people in a Republican primary seat that's open, probably not.
Let's move to policy, because healthcare has been an interest of yours because you have a background in healthcare. What will be your top priority aside from the way that the speakership feels and the politics of it? What will be your top legislative priority?
Well, we're still looking at that, and the governor's looking at a healthcare package, and he has a task force coming. Criminal justice reform's another one. So I think we need to sit back and see what comes out of those meetings. And we've been involved in a lot of healthcare that try to make things accessible, affordable, more transparency in the healthcare market. So we're looking forward to it, and this year we put out a care plan, and there's 13 parts to the care plan. I think we accomplished 6 to 7. The governor wanted to have some of those parts in his plan this coming year, so we backed off. So we're looking forward to have those conversations with the governor as we move forward.
So you mentioned that you were going to try to reassign both sides of the aisle and really sort of match skill sets with certain legislators. And my friend Gloria Johnson comes to mind. Glenn Cassidy did a fine job of burying her on committees to where really she couldn't be effective at all and didn't have a lot of experience, but she worked very hard at it. Would you take somebody like Gloria, for say, and put her on education?
It's a good possibility. You know, I think at the end of the day, there's members who want to be very busy, who they want to serve on 3 committees, and there's those who want to serve on 2, and there's some that are in between. And so really, you know, it's to sit down and really try to figure out how busy someone wants to be, and idle hands sometimes are not the best things. And so
you'll listen better maybe than your predecessor did. And I commend Beth Harwell. I thought she did a good job of placing people fairly on committees. Are you going to try to be a little more like Beth and less like Glenn?
Well, what I'm going to say is we're going to try to put people in spots where they have their skill set and their passion. That's the number one thing. And whatever that looks like is what we're going to try to do. Knowing that this is only a 1-year cycle, and so we're in midterm, so trying to change the structure of the committees is going to be very tough, but really trying to put people in the right positions.
I want to ask you about, I guess, a policy position. You did not support the ESAs, and it's something the governor pushed for, and we've education savings account, better known as vouchers, and it passed barely. Is that something you may bring back up this next session and try to change the current legislation and bills?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the bill's passed. You know, it was heard. You can have an opinion on what happened or not, right? But that I'm not going to look forward to overturning it. That's passed. The governor can implement it, and you can move forward from this point and see what happens. I think there's lawsuits that may happen that may take the course of whatever happens. So I think legislatively we're not going to look.
He has looked to accelerate the process. Would you like him not to do that?
Well, we've had those conversations, and in the bill it gave him a timeline of how long a period, and he wants to do it a little bit quicker than what is. The governor's stance is he's not really accelerating it, so that's his opinion. And we have concerns on speeding it up a little bit and what that may look like come next year. But as always, that's up to the governor at this point if he wants to go through with that.
Would you push or support expansion of the ESAs?
Well, I think we're a lot of years away, and I think there's some court battles coming to where we'll have to see what happens. Right.
We're going to take another quick break here on Inside Tennessee. The next Speaker of the Tennessee House with us this morning, Cameron Sexton, right after this.